Hello everyone, I'm Jagadishwari. Today I'm going to explain some basic concepts about JavaScript. Variables. In JavaScript, variables are used to store and manipulate data. A variable acts as a named container for data values which can be of various types. Understanding how to properly declare and use variables is essential for effective programming. There are some rules while declaring a JavaScript variable, also known as identifiers. Here you can see the rules for declaring the variable. Declaration of variables. JavaScript provides three primary keywords for declaring variables: var, let, and const. Each keyword has distinct characteristics and usage scenarios. Var keyword. Var is used to declare variables in JavaScript. Variables declared with var are available throughout the entire function where they are declared or globally if declared outside a function. Here is the syntax and example for the var keyword. Let keyword. Let is used to declare variables that are limited to the block that is inside the curly braces where they are defined. Unlike var, let does not allow variables to be redeclared in the same scope, which helps prevent errors. Const keyword. Const is used to declare variables whose values cannot be changed once they are set. Like let, const is block scoped and not accessible outside its block. Although you can't reassign a const variable, if it holds an object or an array, you can still modify the contents of the object or array. Arrays. Arrays in JavaScript are special types of objects used for storing ordered collections of values. These values can be of any data type, including numbers, strings, objects, and even other arrays. Arrays are useful for organizing and manipulating lists of data. Declaration of an array. Arrays in JavaScript are versatile and can be declared in various ways to suit different needs. There are basically two ways to declare an array, that is, array literal and array constructor. Array declaration methods. Using array literals. The most common and straightforward way to create an array is by using an array literal. This method involves defining the array using square brackets. Using the array constructor. The array constructor is a built-in JavaScript function that creates a new array object. It can be invoked with different arguments to create arrays of varying lengths and contents. Basic operations of JavaScript arrays. Creating arrays. Arrays are collections of items and they can be created in JavaScript using either array literals or constructors. Accessing elements. To retrieve a value from an array, use the index starting from 0 inside square brackets. To access the last element of an array, you can use the index of the last position. Since array indices are 0 based, the index of the last element is length minus 1. Modifying elements. Change the value at a specific index by assigning a value. Adding element. Insert new items into an array at the beginning or end. At the end, use push to add elements to the end. At the beginning, use unshift to add elements to the start. Removing elements. Delete items from an array from the beginning or end. From the end, use pop to remove the last item. From the beginning, use shift to remove the first item. Finding elements. Locate the position or check the presence of a value in an array. Index of an element. Use index of method to find the index of a value. Check presence. Use includes to check if an element is in the array. Iterating over arrays. Loop through each item in an array to perform operations. Using for loop. Here is the example and output of for loop. Using for each method. Here is the example and output of the for each method. Array length. The length property shows the number of elements in the array. Array concatenation. Combine two or more arrays using the concat method. It returns new array containing joined array elements. Here is the example and output. Array copy. The copy within method copies array elements to another position in an array. Functions. In JavaScript, a function is a reusable block of code designed to perform a particular task. It allows you to encapsulate code into a single unit that can be executed when needed. Uses. Code reusability. Functions allow you to write code once and reuse it multiple times throughout your program. Modularity. Functions help break down complex tasks into smaller manageable pieces, improving code organization. Encapsulation. Functions encapsulate code and hide implementation details, exposing only necessary functionality. And there are abstraction, function composition, higher order functions, callback functions, event handlers, recursive functions, and immediate invocation as the uses of functions. Function declaration. Function declaration is a way to define a function with a name and a block of code. It's hoisted to top of its scope, meaning you can call it before it appears in the code. Function parameters. Parameters are the named variables in the function definition that act as placeholders for the values arguments you pass into the function. Here is the example and output. Calling functions. Calling a function involves invoking it by its name followed by parentheses, optionally including arguments if the function requires them. Objects. Objects in JavaScript are the most important data type and form the building blocks for modern JavaScript. In JavaScript, an object is a collection of related data and functions known as properties and methods, respectively. Properties are key value pairs that store the data, while methods are functions associated with the object that can manipulate its properties. Here is a syntax and example. Objects are more complex, and each object may contain any combination of these primary data types as well as reference data types. An object can be created with figure brackets with an optional list of properties. Accessing object members. Object members can be accessed with dot notation or bracket notation. Here is the example and output. Deleting properties. To delete a property of an object, use the delete operator. Note that you cannot delete inherited properties or non-figurable properties. Loops. JavaScript loops are essential for efficiently handling repetitive tasks. They execute a block of code repeatedly as long as a specified condition remains true. JavaScript for loop. The for loop provides a concise way of writing the loop structure. The for loop contains initialization, condition, and increment or decrement in one line, thereby providing a shorter, easy to debug structure for looping. Here is a syntax and example. JavaScript while loop. The while loop is a control flow statement that allows code to be executed repeatedly based on a given Boolean condition. The while loop can be thought of as a repeating if statement. JavaScript do while loop. The JavaScript do while loop is similar to the while loop, with the only difference is that it checks for the condition after executing the statements and therefore is an example of an exit control loop. It executes loop content at least once even the condition is false. JavaScript for in loop. The for in loop is used to iterate over the properties of an object. The for in loop iterates only over those keys of an object which have their enumerable properties set to true. The JavaScript for off loop. For off loop is used to iterate the iterable objects, for example, array, object, set, and map. It directly iterates the value of the given iterable object and has more concise syntax than for loop. JavaScript break statement. It is used to terminate the execution of the loop or switch statement when the condition is true. JavaScript continue statement. It is used to break the iteration of the loop and follow with the next iteration. The break in iteration is possible only when the specified condition going to occur. The major difference between the continue and break statement is the break statement breaks out of the loop completely, while continue is used to break one statement and iterate to the next statement. Thank you.